Today on Network Africa, rumors continue in Gambia, and this time it's about President Yahya Jammeh hiring mercenaries. Of the opposition in Uganda's parliament want an ICC investigation into the Kasisi death. And it's been described as a critical milestone. Researchers believe they are on the trail to finding a vaccine for malaria. Glad to have you on the program. I am BC Adebayo. The political situation in the Gambia is high up in the news today, and this time with rumors that President Yahya Jammeh is hiring mercenaries. A report on online media, BuzzFeed, quotes an unnamed Ivory Coast intelligence officer as saying there was a big recruitment of former militants from Ivory Coast and mercenaries from Liberia. A former Liberian army commander reportedly told BuzzFeed that there were thousands of Liberian former soldiers living in refugee camps who could jump at the challenge to earn money by fighting for Mr. Jammeh. President Yahya Jammeh had been in power for 22 years and lost in the last presidential election in December. Having initially accepted the results, he turned around to reject them and is currently contesting them in court. Regional body ECOWAS, on the other hand, has been mediating, urging Mr. Jammeh to accept the results and step down. It has promised to use force where possible, a move Mr. Jammeh has described as an act of war. Now let's get some perspective to this, and the Executive Director of the West African Network for Peace Building, Mr. Chukwuemeka Eze, joins us now. He is in Bissau, the Guinea-Bissau capital. Thanks for joining us on the program. Of rumors making the rounds in the Gambia. First, it was about the well-being of the president-elect Adama Barrow, and now it's about President Jammeh hiring mercenaries. You seem to be having issues connected with Mr. Eze, but we'll continue that conversation in a moment. But in the meantime, we'll move over to East Africa and Uganda, to be precise, where opposition lawmakers are calling on the International Criminal Court to investigate the killing of 62 people in the western town of Kasese. They believe what happened there can only be described as war crimes. The police clashed with the guards of local King Charles Wesley Number, who has been accused of inciting violence after militiamen reportedly attacked a police post. One lawmaker from the area and one of 6 members of parliament who sent the petition said that the number of people killed was more than 200 and that the police and the army had jointly committed a genocide and crimes against humanity. The ICC says it has received the petition and will give it appropriate consideration in accordance with the provisions of the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court. But let's get back to the conversation on happenings in the Gambia. And the Executive Director of the West African Network for Peace Building, Mr. Chukwuemeka Eze, is back on the line now. Mr. Eze, what do you make of the series of rumors that are making the rounds in the Gambia? First, we heard about the issues surrounding the well-being of the president-elect, Adama Barrow, and now what we hear is about President Jammeh hiring mercenaries.
There are a lot of rumors going on in the Gambia at the moment, which is also expected when you have this kind of tense situation. But at the moment, it is not confirmed that really there is any evidence about the president recruiting mercenaries to either fight the ECOWAS forces or not to fight the ECOWAS forces. But yesterday again, there was an online rumor about the death or the assassination of the president-elect, which also was a lie. But at the moment, we are monitoring the situation. The situation is tense, but also a bit calm, because you cannot see any iota of violence on the street, even though people are living in high levels of fear.
Well, you just mentioned that you're assessing the situation, and of course, you say that it's calm. But even though you can only get as far as Guinea-Bissau right now, what more can you tell us about the true situation of things in the Gambia?
A lot of people are leaving the country because of some levels of uncertainty, but others are also operating from the diaspora. But there is a resolve amongst the citizens that they would not allow their mandate to be toyed with by the sitting president. There is an expectation that on the 10th of this December, of January, that the Supreme Court will sit. Before now, there was no Supreme Court in place, but there has been now inaugurated a Supreme Court that will likely sit on the 10th to decide the fate of the election.
Now, WANEP is working with ECOWAS on resolving the tension diplomatically. How is that going so far?
Sorry?
WANEP is working with ECOWAS to mediate in this issue in the Gambia, but how is that coming so far?
Well, I think, the ethics of mediation also insists that the parties in the dispute must all have the consent of the interlocutor. So at the moment, there is a stalemate because the ECOWAS lead mediator, President Buhari, who is also supposed to be accompanied by President John Mahama, they are both on the edge because the sitting president have unequivocally stated that he is not going to attend to them again. So, and that has now forced ECOWAS to get this ECOWAS standby force ready under the leadership of Senegal.
But do you think that ECOWAS will indeed use force if Mr. Jammeh refuses to step down come January the 18th? And is it working on a standby force?
Well, I think the ECOWAS protocol on democracy and good governance is very clear on what happens in a situation like this. And that's why ECOWAS is always proactive in its approach. The protocol says zero tolerance to unconstitutional means of ascending into power. And by 18th of January,